stop, time to get it, really ain't no competition.
We talked about Alabama.
Really ain't no competition, baby. No rush.
The 8th perfect game.
Go hard, say I'm a big winner.
Beautiful to watch from start to finish. They're not just competing against each other, but against every team in the nation.
Is still Alabama.
Roll Tide and welcome everyone to the Crimson Tide Production studio right here inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium for another episode of Tide TV this week. I am Kinsey Hughes, joined by my co-host Roger Hoover. Good to see you, my man.
Roll Tide, good to see you. I love this time of the year as it is finally here. It's A-Day week. This Saturday, Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide will hold the annual Golden Flake A-Day game inside Bryant-Denny Stadium.
This week, the Tide began their final week of spring practice on Tuesday with the 13th practice of the spring. The Tide held number 14 on Thursday, and Saturday will be the 15th and final practice of the spring for Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide.
A-Day will also be the third and final scrimmage of the spring. This past Saturday, the Crimson Tide held their second scrimmage of spring camp inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. Let's hear from Coach Saban, then take a look at some of the highlights from this past Saturday.
We were a little up and down today. You know, like the good plays were really good, but some of the bad plays were really not what we want. So, but it will create an opportunity for us to make some corrections, you know, and continue to try to develop the kind of competitive character that we need. I mean, I think every player's got to challenge himself to give great effort, sustain and try to finish every play, and be accountable and responsible to do your job. And then we could eliminate, you know, some of the mental errors and some of the negative plays. I've said this before, you know, sometimes you got to eliminate the bad before you can really evaluate the good, because sometimes the bad plays, you know, get you beat, and that's one thing that you want to eliminate before you have a chance to win.
Well, Roger, the Tide has had over 90,000 fans inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium for A-Day on several occasions since Coach Saban took over as head coach, so we know there's going to be a lot of fans here in Bryant-Denny this Saturday.
Absolutely, there will be, and we will also have a lot of great activities for the fans to enjoy leading up to that 2 p.m. kickoff. First, the alumni flag football game is slated to begin at 11:30 a.m. inside Bryant-Denny Stadium and will feature former Alabama standouts with Gate 20 slated to open at 11 a.m. for the flag football game.
All gates open at 11:30 a.m. and admission will be once again free to the public. And you know how I love free stuff, Roger. Get here early because the first 5,000 fans will receive a limited edition A-Day poster courtesy of Golden Flake.
At approximately 12:15 p.m., Coach Saban and 2022 captains Will Anderson Jr., Jordan Paddle, and Bryce Young will address the crowd at Denny Chimes as the captains will then leave hand and cleat marks in the concrete as they join a long list of Crimson Tide greats. The Walk of Champions will take place at about 12:50 as the team will arrive at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Kickoff for A-Day is scheduled for 2 p.m. If you can't be here, the game will be streamed live on SEC Network Plus.
And the Alabama softball team will be hosting Auburn this weekend for a 3-game series. Saturday's matchup is set to begin at 3 o'clock, while the track and field team will be hosting the Crimson Tide Invitational on Friday and Saturday. It's quite the busy weekend scheduled for the Tide around A-Day.
It's going to be a great weekend here in T-Town for A-Day. We hope to see you here cheering on the Crimson Tide.
And as we go to break, check out this little teaser to get you excited about this weekend's A-Day game.
Here comes the Tide.
Leave it all on the floor. If there's a knock on the door, don't leave us in, we the boys.
Alabama! He can go! Burst of speed!
Go big, go home. Let's go. Go big, go home.
One right! Milrow 40! Milrow 30! Got it! Complete! Isaiah Bond. Touchdown! Crimson Tide!
Make the rules not follow. Go big, go home. Go home.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Swing and a miss, strike three, and that is your ball. Swing, miss, ball game.
Are you kidding me? Here comes Jim Jarvis. Alabama wins.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. This past weekend, the Alabama baseball team hosted in-state rival Auburn for a 3-game series at the Joe.
You know, these two teams have played a lot of baseball against one another, with Friday's opening game of the series being the 305th time the two schools have met on the baseball diamond.
You've been at all of them too, huh?
200 at least.
The Tigers struck first in the Iron Bowl of baseball with an 8-4 decision in Game 1, but the Tide bounced back in Game 2 on Saturday. Alabama struck first in the second, scoring 3 runs. With the bases loaded, Andrew Pinckney walked to score Ed Johnson from third. Then, the very next batter, Matt Gassetti doubled to left center, scoring Dominic Temez and William Hameter. That made it 3-0 Crimson Tide. Auburn walked in another run in the fourth on this walk to Ed Johnson that scored Jim Jarvis.
On the mound, Garrett McMillan was masterful. He was working on a pitch count, but he threw 5 scoreless innings, allowing just 1 hit and striking out 4 as he picked up his first win of the year. Alton Davis II came on in the 9th to close it out for the Tide as he picked up out 1 on a strikeout, then closed out the game as he got the Tigers to ground into a double play as he picked up his 2nd save on the season as Alabama evened the series with a 4-2 win in Game 2.
Going for the series win on Sunday, it was Auburn that got on the board first with a single to center, scoring the first run of the game. But the Tide responded with 6 unanswered runs. With the bases loaded, just like in Game 2, the Tigers walked in another run to tie the game at 1. Then, the next batter, Drew Williamson, singled up the middle, scoring Jim Jarvis and Andrew Pinckney to make it 3-1 Crimson Tide. And hey, check this out, Roger. So with Drew Williamson on first and Jim Jarvis on third, Williamson takes off to distract the pitcher, and Jarvis slides in safely at home. Jarvis stole home, and that made it 4-1 Alabama.
My favorite moment of the weekend, Alabama would add 2 more runs in the 8th inning on a double by Bryce Eblin that scored Andrew Pinckney, then a triple from guess who? Jim Jarvis. That made it 6-1 Bama. Jacob McNary started the game, allowed just 1 run over 3 2/3 innings. Riley Quick came on to pick up his first win of the year as he pitched another 3 2/3 innings. Then for the 2nd day in a row, Alton Davis came on to close out the game as he got the final 5 out as Alabama and with Davis picked up his 3rd save of the season and 2nd in 2 days as Alabama won the series over Auburn with the 6-1 victory in Game 3.
Jacob gave us an outstanding start, and obviously Riley and Alton were fantastic. And, you know, an older coach told me once, sometimes you got to lose one early to win one late, and I think everyone's seeing now why we've really invested in Alton and Riley. They just got really high-end stuff, and those guys are starting to get comfortable and confident, and you know, they can really change it for our club, you know, going forward. So did enough offensively. You know, Auburn going into the weekend had been a little erratic on the mound, especially, you know, in the bullpen, and we talked to our kids about really being patient, and our guys did a good job of taking advantage of them spraying it a little bit, and we did enough to cash in on their mistakes.
The series win improved the Tide's record to 26-11 and into 4th place in the SEC West and 6-9 in conference.
Alabama returned to action on Tuesday night against UAB at Regions Field in Birmingham.
Andrew Pinckney put Alabama on the scoreboard first with this 2-run blast over the wall and left. Pinckney's 5th home run of the year. He knows how to hit it. The Blazers tied the game with a couple of runs in the 5th and then took a 3-2 lead in the 7th on a sac fly. Trailing 3-2 in the 9th, Tommy Seidel tied the game at 3-all with this shot to center. Seidel's homer sent the contest into extra innings.
Scoreless 10th, and then in the 11th inning with a runner at second, UAB with Henry Hunter at the plate sent a hot shot down the first base line. Tough to handle for Drew Williamson. Couldn't bring it in. That would allow the Blazers to score the winning run. The Tide battled, but in the end, errors cost the Tide as UAB won in 11 innings, 4-3.
And for his performance on the mound in the Tide's win over Auburn in Game 2, Garrett McMillan was named the SEC Extras Pitcher of the Week by D1Baseball.com. McMillan picked up his first win of the year as he tossed 5 scoreless innings, allowing just 1 hit while striking out 4 in the win. This weekend, the Tide hit the road as they head to Columbia to take on the Missouri Tigers for a 3-game series.
The Alabama softball team had a busy week as well.
That they did. The Tide traveled to Starkville for a 3-game series against the Mississippi State Bulldogs and played a couple of out-of-conference matchups in West Virginia for a homecoming for one of the Tide stars. We'll tell you who it was and what happened coming up next.
TideTV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
How about some noise at the Rhodes House? Sliding in around the tag is Dowling. Ashley Prangy. And Alabama takes the lead. That's well hit to center.
The Montana Foul's got her.
Jenna Johnson. Perfectly executed.
She's looking for more.
That's gone. Alabama answers right back to grab the lead.
Here comes the Tide.
Yeah, leave it all on the floor. If there's a knock on the door, don't leave us in, we the boys.
He could go. Burst of speed.
Go big, go home. Let's go. Go big, go home.
One right. Milrow 40.
Go
Milrow
big,
30.
go home.
Got it. Complete. Isaiah Bond.
Pulling up like
Touchdown, Crimson Tide.
make the rules not follow. Go big, go home. Go home.
Welcome back to TideTV This Week. I am Kenzie Hughes. He is Roger Hoover. And Roger, the 14th ranked Alabama softball team traveled just 90 miles west this past weekend to take on Mississippi State.
It was Super Bulldog weekend for Mississippi State as the Bulldogs football, baseball, and softball teams were all in action in Starkville. I've been there before. It's a crazy
It
time.
sounds familiar, right? In Game 1 on Friday, the Tide struck first. Kinley Cahalan came home on a passed ball for the first run of the game. The Tide added a couple more in the third to make it 3-0 ball game.
With the Tide up 4-1 in the seventh, the Bulldogs' Madison Kennedy sent this pitch over the wall in left center to make it a 4-3 game. However, Montana Fouts got the final batter to strike out swinging to end the ball game as Alabama took Game 1 4-3.
It was all Crimson Tide in Game 2 on Saturday. Alabama scored 6 runs while the Tide pitching staff absolutely shut out the Bulldogs. Alex Salter was magnificent on the mound. She pitched a complete game shutout going 7 innings, allowing just 3 hits for her 6th win of the year as the Tide rolled to the 6-0 victory.
Going for the series sweep, it was Montana Fouts' turn in the circle, and just like Salter, she shut down the Bulldogs' offense. Fouts was just as masterful as she pitched a 7-inning complete game shutout, allowing just 5 hits while striking out 5.
It took just 1 run for the win, and Allie Shipman delivered. In the third, Shipman sent the Bulldogs' pitch back up the middle to center, scoring Kristen White. That made it 1-0, and that would be the final. Shipman's game-winning hit, along with Fouts' dominance on the mound and some great defense, gave Alabama their first series sweep of the season with the 1-0 win in Game 3. That series sweep over Mississippi State improved Alabama's record to 32-12 on the year and tied for third at 9-6 in the SEC.
On Tuesday of this week, the Tide traveled to West Virginia for a homecoming trip for Montana Fouts. The Tide played a doubleheader against Liberty and Marshall.
Alabama led Liberty 3-2 in the 5th, but a 3-run homer in the bottom of that 5th inning gave Liberty the 3-5 win. And in Game 2 of the doubleheader against Marshall, it was a pitcher's duel until the 6th. Allie Shipman got things started with the leadoff double, and then Bailey Dowling drove Shipman in with this 2-run shot to left center. Dowling's 7th home run of the year.
Love to see it. Then Faith Hensley scored another on this rope to first base that would come off the bat of Larissa Pruitt. Lauren Essman allowed just 1 run on 1 hit through 6 strong innings to pick up the win as Montana Fouts came on in relief to pick up the save with a scoreless 7th inning. Fouts struck out 2 as she earned her 4th save on the year as Alabama rebounded in the second game of the doubleheader with a 3-1 win.
Patrick Murphy's squad moved to 33-13 on the year with that win.
This weekend, the Tide will host in-state rival Auburn for a 3-game series at the Rhodes House beginning on Friday.
Stay with us. We'll have more TideTV This Week coming up next.
How about some noise at the Rhodes House? Sliding in around the tag is Dowling. Ashley Prangy. And Alabama takes the lead. That's well hit to center.
The Montana Foul's got her.
Jenna Johnson. Perfectly executed. looking for more. That's gone! Alabama answers right back to grab the lead.
Swing and a miss, strike three, and that is your ball. Swing, miss, ball game.
Hammer puts it into play.
Are you kidding me? Struck him out looking with a fastball.
Spectacular.
In the dirt. Here comes Jim Jarvis. Alabama wins.
Welcome back to Tide TV this week. The Alabama women's golf team was in action this past week as Mick Potter's squad competed for the SEC championship in Birmingham.
Competing at the Greystone Golf and Country Club Legacy Course, Alabama was 5th after the opening round, but slipped in the final 2 rounds to finish 10th overall. Taylor Kehoe and Sarah Edwards each earned top 20 finishes to lead the Crimson Tide. Kehoe tied for 15th at 6 over par, while Edwards captured her team-leading 5th top 20 finish as she tied for 18th overall at 7 over.
Samantha Kunza broke a school record in the women's hammer throw at the Tom Jones Memorial in Gainesville this past weekend. Kunza broke the school record with a throw of 65.33 meters.
And Tarsis Oregot returned the second fastest 200-meter all-conditions mark in collegiate history with a time of 1960. And for that, Oregot was named the SEC Men's Runner of the Week and Men's National Athlete of the Week.
And Oregot's performance helped the Crimson Tide men move all the way up to number 4 in this week's men's D1 track and field rankings. The women are currently ranked 13th.
And the Alabama men's tennis team racked up the regular season with a win on the road in Fayetteville. The Tide defeated the Razorbacks 6-1. And the Alabama women's tennis team wrapped up their regular season at home on Sunday against South Carolina. It was the final regular season match and final home match for head coach Jenny Maines.
She's a great Blue-Gray Hall of Famer and ITA National Coach of the Year and 3-time Southeastern Conference Coach of the Year. Jenny Maines is the longest tenured coach here at the University of Alabama with 26 years as the Alabama women's tennis head coach.
We recently sat down with Coach Maines as she reflected on her career and time here at Alabama.
When I first got to Alabama, I thought I would certainly be here for a couple years and maybe longer, but I never dreamed of being here 26 years. And what kind of happened was that it became my dream job. And I'm from Texas, but Alabama became my home in Tuscaloosa. I love the community, I love the university and everything about it, and it's been a great experience. I've been very blessed. The University of Alabama to me is about people. And I've kind of said since day one that we have a beautiful campus, we have beautiful facilities, very high standard academically, and just so many wonderful things with the university. But the people are what sets it apart. It's a tremendous caring, there's no professional sports here, so everyone that goes to school here, all the student athletes, have a lot of people at their matches. They have a lot of people that are, behind them. We've had a tremendous opportunity in this community to give back, whether it's at Capstone Village next door, whether it's Habitat for Humanity, whether it's Project Angel Tree. And I think our student athletes enjoy that. I think that it's fun for them and it's a life lesson. My favorite thing about being a coach is having the involvement and the relationships with the student athletes, the players, my coaching staff, athletic trainers, managers, and the community. It's an Alabama family. It's one heartbeat. It's everybody supporting each other. We had been building toward the 2014 season for a long time. To me, one of the things that I think is important to remember is that it's a culmination of all the years, all the hard work, all the investment, the commitment, the dedication, and not just from that team. I believe that everybody that played at Alabama had a hand in that. To be a female and be in this industry has been empowering. It's cultivating and fostering female leaders. As a young little girl, I always aspired to big things, and I wanted to play college tennis, I wanted to play professional tennis, and I've always wanted to lead people and lead young females. And I feel a tremendous responsibility for young people to come to our matches, young men and women, but young girls, and say, I want to do that. I can do that one day. You have to dream. It's important. It's been a great ride, and I've been abundantly blessed. Every morning, and I tell this team this all the time, every morning I get up and I put on my Alabama stuff. 26 years later, I still have as much pride and joy doing it as I did in 1997 when I got here. I would like to say thank you. I would like to say thank you to all the people that took a chance on me, trusted me. I'd like to say thank you to all the staff, managers, trainers, assistant coaches. You can't really explain how special Alabama is in the University of Alabama. And I would just like to thank the fans, thank Greg Byrne, President Bell, and all those that have been involved in the process with our team and our program. It's gonna be a deep tournament. I think there's gonna be a lot of talent.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Thank you, Coach. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Roll Tide.
Thanks. Roll Tide. I'm forever grateful for the support and the love and the encouragement, and I'll bleed crimson forever and Roll Tide forever.
Here comes the Tide.
Leave it all on the floor. If there's a knock on the door, don't even say we the boys.
He can go. Burst of speed.
Go big, go home. Let's go. Go big, go home.
One right. Milrow 40. Milrow 30.
Got it. Complete. Isaiah Bond.
Pulling up like
Touchdown. Crimson Tide.
make the rules not follow. Go big, go home. Go home.
As that one's hit high in the air to shallow left center. Long run and diving and making the grab will be William Hamilton. Heck of a play by Hamilton. They start a runner, and that will get him in time. Wow.
The 1-2, runner going. Breaking ball is hit high in the air going in the center. Racing in for it, injured Pinckney. On the run, he makes the catch. Here comes his throw to first base, and plenty of time.
Roller to second. To Jarvis. Back to first. And Alabama evens the series at 1 game apiece.
And that's sent right back up the middle. That'll drop in center field. Base hit. White rounds third. She'll come in to score. And Allie Shipman puts Alabama on the board. That's ripped and stopped by Prangy. She'll step on the bag. Throw to first, ends the inning. You kidding me?
That one's popped up on the infield and foul ground. Catch made by Prangy, and she'll throw to first to turn the double play.
Welcome back to TideTV This Week. So those are our ATI Plays of the Week. Now, let's take a look at our Players of the Week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
We start with baseball. Alton Davis shut the door on the Auburn Tigers in games 2 and 3 as he helped Alabama win the series over Auburn. Davis allowed just 1 hit and no runs in 2 2/3 innings as he struck out 3 and earned saves in both of the Tide's wins. Davis hasn't allowed a run in his last 8 outings.
The man can play, and how can you not go with the fastest man in the nation in the 100 meters this season? Tarsus Oregot recorded the second fastest 200-meter all-conditions mark in collegiate history with a time of 19.60. Congratulations to our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching y'all this week.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some football on there next week. We hope you enjoyed this week's show, though, and we look forward to seeing you here again right back here next week, and it will be the final episode of the spring and the school year coming up.
Final episode. I'm looking forward to it. You're looking forward to it. And we'll see y'all next week. Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,